Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, wrestling fans, and sports entertainment fans, welcome to the No Shave Man Cave. I'm Ellie Jair.
And I am Jay Tilley. And today we have some special guests for our special show. For those that have listened for a while, or those of you that may just be turning in, on the 22nd every month, we do a mental health check in, kind of talk about mental health, mental awareness. I always want to give at least a disclaimer saying that none of us are licensed therapists, none of us are in the career field. We're just specifically Ellie, Jared, and myself, just two guys who deal with depression, anxiety, and other mental issues. And we like to tell our stories so everybody out there knows it's okay to not be okay and you're not alone. Tonight, we are joined with, I'm honored to have you guys here, both as veterans and as wrestlers, especially me being an AEW Day One fan at the press conference. Was there when the doors open and I can go to Daly's place for every show. So it's really cool to see Captain Sean Dean joining us.
Hey, what's going on, guys? Nice
So,
to see you guys. Thank you.
awesome, man. It's exciting. And Harley, no H. Did I get it?
Harley, no H, baby.
No H. All right. So tattooed and bad news, man. Or bad news and tattoos. I got it backwards.
It's all the same.
Hey, it's all the same.
Yeah, whatever.
Whatever.
I'm dyslexic, so I can get away with that one. But super excited to have you guys here. Like I said, we're going to kind of talk mental health, and specifically around, some of the things, maybe if you guys are willing to, some of the things, struggles you may have seen or dealt with. Jared and I both have dealt with our own issues. PTSD is obviously a real thing for military members. Depression, separation, anxiety is one of the major ones I'm dealing with. When I came out of the military, didn't get a retirement ceremony, literally got a package in the mail saying I was done because of COVID and everything. So I got this mail and, I guess I'm retired. So I never got to say goodbye to my unit and all that. So that really affected me. Talking to Jared there, like I realized, oh man, this guy's going through stuff too. So that's what prompted this whole thing. But before we get into all that stuff, I'll open it to you guys. Like, what drew you? I know this is probably a question you get all the time, but I'm going to spin it a different way. So, for when you guys decided to get into professional wrestling, I know both of you were in the military and left the military and joined professional wrestling. What kind of mental challenges did it take to overcome the lifestyle change of the military life being every day you're doing XYZ to now you're kind of out and now it's like, oh gosh, I got to have my own self-discipline to go to the gym, to go to wrestling school, to find my own way. I'm just kind of curious, like how that went with you guys and how you kind of adjusted to that.
uh, so for me, it was, you get that, you have that discipline already engraved into you into the in boot camp, where you come in and, and that's for anybody that whether you have an athletic background or whatever. Once you go to boot camp, you're on a set routine. You got to get up every morning at a certain time, reveille comes, and you got to get to work, So for me, just going into, when I started my training, even in my athletic career, anything like that, I always knew that I had a certain time frame. I had to get up, I had to go to the gym, and I got to do this. And Bravo attached to it to me, like, hey, we could be traveling and we'll get done, we'll work at like 2 in the morning, get on a 5 a.m. flight, land back in Atlanta at like 6:30, 7 o'clock in the morning. And the first thing I say when I get off the plane is, hey man, I'm about to go to the gym. You know what I'm saying? Like, so it's ingrained in me that, that whole time is that, this is my job, as much as, it's an aesthetic business. So the way you look and the way you present yourself is key. You can look a certain way. You can look like, there's no knock on Eddie Kingston. You can like Eddie Kingston, or you can look all the way like somebody like Chris Masters, just a masterpiece of great body, or, you can look like Warlow or Will Hobbs or something like
Yeah.
that. It's just different body types. But the key to that is that you have to do like some physical activity. You have to work out just because of the toll that it takes on our body. So I think about a lot of that from just being in boot camp and just knowing that, okay, even at the boot camp, I got to get up at a certain time. I got to get in a routine, and I just try to keep that routine throughout my whole, my wrestling journey is to try to have a routine every day. I need to go to the gym. I know I got to go. I got to go to the gym. If I don't go to the gym, I don't feel right, and it's just because it is part of my job. I have to make sure that I'm in shape and I'm ready to go at a moment's notice.
I would say, I would think, well, the transition from from military, I would guess you say, to wrestling was actually a lot easier than you would think because we was in the military for so long, we were better with structure. You dig what I'm saying? So it was a lot. It's a lot harder when I don't got something to do. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like when not, cause like he said, it's an aesthetic business, right? So like you have to go to the gym, you have to train, you have to make sure you're eating right. That stuff is easy because it puts me in a situation where I have to be scheduled. And that's usually when I work my best. Out of the two of us, I'm more of the fly by the wind guy. You know what I'm saying? Captain is Leonardo. I'm freaking you dig what I'm saying? So like as he like he said, you know, we get off the plane. It's 7 in the morning. First thing he's saying is, I gotta go to the gym. First thing I'm saying is, I'll get to the gym
I
today.
gotta get some sleep.
I'll get there eventually. You dig what I'm saying? So like it's the same thing, but it works so much easier because you have to do something. It's a schedule. When I'm left to my own devices, that's kind of when it'll eat at me. You know what I'm saying? So wrestling is a lot. Having this around and having to do this a certain way is the best thing actually for me. You know, I wasn't an officer. I was an NCO. I was infantry. I was a grunt. You know what I'm saying? So like, I work best when I know this may seem weird, but I work best when I'm told what to do. I'm real good at reacting. You dig what I'm saying? And a schedule is kind of like my unofficial NCO, my sergeant. You know what I'm saying? It's telling me what I have to do
Yeah.
at what time or have to have it done by, and that usually works the best for me. You dig what I'm saying?
That's awesome. I was an NCO also, and Jared was a major, so you know
Mm-hmm.
it's kind of fun to boss him around now.
Salute, Major. Salute.
Yeah. I came in a private, made it to staff sergeant, got selected for gunny and warrant officer, did the warrant officer thing, and then chopped over to the LDO side. I was a glutton, man.
Hey man, you are one of one. That is awesome.
Yeah, it's cool.
You started enlistment.
Started
Officer. That's
started from the bottom, yo, straight up.
real, for real.
Yeah.
So you're on the grind, you're ascending in your journey, and you know, you come across your first roadblock. You know where the destination is, and you hit that first roadblock. And you could have easily said, "Oh, hey, wasn't meant to be. I'm gonna go, you know, stick with acting, or I'm gonna stay in my athletic field, or pick up another craft." What was it besides like the burn in your gut for this is really what I want? What was it that kept you focused, kept you on your grind? Because what the two of you are doing, not just in the ring, but for AEW, for the communities that you bring AEW into, it's next level. So I'm just super interested to hear that.
Me, it's simple. I'm a Marine, right? So I'm bullheaded, right? So like a challenge or anything that would have any because I would say as really loosely to keep it loose as possible. My second year was a big am I doing the right thing? You know, to, it's a lot to Marines aren't we're very we're not everybody's cup of tea. You know what I'm saying? We're a hard shot of tequila, if you get what I'm saying. And for civilians, that could be hard to swallow, especially in an ego-driven entertainment business that we are in. You know what I'm saying? So you put that on top of that, there was a lot of things and people telling me maybe I'm operating outside of my wheelhouse, right? But like, I can't quit. That ain't it. I chose that this is what I'm gonna do. I told myself this is what's gonna work, and I stuck by that, right? So like if I got a mission, I can't just cash out on the mission. I gotta get it done. You know what I'm saying? No matter how we gotta get it done, it gotta get done. You know what I'm saying? So once I decided that this is where I was gonna be at, and I realized that this was going to be a surefire opportunity for me to change my life, and I wanted to stick my guns behind this, there was no quit at that point. No matter how hard the road get, no matter how heavy the load get, no matter how far the hump is, I gotta go. It is what it is. You know what I'm saying? And that's the mentality that I had. And honestly, you start to realize that when you start going through things and then you actually get through things, you're like, holy smokes, like I'm not tripping. Like this is actually working. Like your mentality, not even what you're doing, you're stick to it and you telling yourself you're not going crazy and you're gonna keep going. It changes everything. There's not something that could happen to me in wrestling right now that'll make me change my course. Like, you know what I'm saying? That's the best part of it.
That's awesome.
Yeah, to piggyback on that, it's the same. It's like, I left Chicago. I was in Chicago, man, and I left everything I knew in Chicago to come down to Atlanta to start training. So when you make a big move like that, like you leave I have no family down here. I don't know I didn't know anybody
Yes,
down
you
here.
do.
Oh, of course now, yeah. But before I met him, I knew nobody. I didn't have anybody who I felt like I could lean on, nobody who I could depend on down here. It was just me. I was down here. I was living, in a one bedroom apartment, sleeping on an air mattress. And when you get down to that point, you feel like you're at your lowest point. You here, you know what I'm saying? But you have a goal in mind. I had a goal, and my goal was that I'm gonna be professionally wrestling somewhere on somebody's TV before it's all said and done within the next 3, 4 years. That's the mentality I came down here with. And there were times when I felt like, I was seeing my other peers. Like I went to a school where I'm talking about like Leon Ruff, Austin Theory, AC Mack, anybody, a who's who, Allen Angels, Lee Johnson, Ashton Starr, Fred Yeha, Aja Pereira. Like I had like all these incredible, amazing. AR Fox was my trainer. All these amazing people around me who are just doing their thing, and I'm here, and I don't know nothing. I'm just here, and I'm trying to figure it out. I'm trying to learn and getting more opportunities, and I'm getting, and you get a feeling like, man, like all these people around me are succeeding, and I'm not. And I had to really take a step back and understand that their journey isn't my journey, and my journey isn't the next person's journey. So I got to stay the course and do what I do best. And that's just stay at it, stay on the grind, keep going, keep asking questions. That's one thing that I would say that me and Bravo do the most is that we're not afraid to ask questions. We're not afraid to gain knowledge. You can't get anywhere if you don't ask questions. Closed mouths don't get fed. So we're big on just staying the course and asking questions. Like that's how you get ahead, like networking, your network increases your net worth. That's a true thing. The bigger
Yep.
your network is, the better your network will be because you're getting the tools. Our coach Cody, he says, your tool belt. He talks a lot about your tool belt. And in a life, that's what you have to do. You're meeting people and you're gaining knowledge and you're putting things in your tool belt that you don't even realize. It could be something I can remember something from 10, 15 years ago that I can apply today just because I talked to somebody that was able to help me through something, and I apply that to everything I do. I listen to a lot of motivational videos. I watch stuff every morning. Whenever I'm feeling down, that's one of my biggest things that I do is I'll go on YouTube or something. And however I'm feeling, there is a motivational video on YouTube from some of the best motivational speakers in the world that I can watch and that would pull me right out of what I need. It'll get me right where I need to go to get me fired up, ready to run through a brick wall. And that's just kind of the mentality that you got to have when you feel like you're in a rut, you're stuck. Just take a moment, take a breather, step back, and just say, "Hey, I'm here for a reason. It's a purpose. I'm not doing this for nothing. It's something at the end of the tunnel, and you just got to keep pressing."
Man, I love that because you're yeah, you're part about everybody's on their own separate journey and everything. Like that's something we've talked about on the show previously about mental health too. Is
Yes.
everybody's mental health is their own. So just because I watch a movie that makes me sad, somebody else might watch it and not have a big deal about it. So having that stigmatism about like, oh, I can't be specifically as men, right? We're always like, we're tough, we suck it up, we just like in the military, you're hurt, rub some dirt
All
in it,
right,
keep
rub some
going.
dirt on it.
Yeah, rub some dirt on it, keep
Rub
going.
some dirt on it.
Or what do you mean your feelings hurt? I don't care. So we're used to that pressure to never show those emotions, and that's one of those journeys that I think everybody's kind of on. And it took me a lot to kind of break through that because I had a friend pass away unexpectedly about a year ago, which actually was prompted us to start the show because I was like, man, life's too short. Let's do this. But I remember walking in the house after I found out, and my girls were home, and I couldn't cry about it. I'm like, no, everything's fine. Everything's fine. Uncle Rob's not with us anymore, but hey, let's go cook some chicken wings or something. So I had to like bury that down. And it took going to a therapist and talking about it to realize that it's okay. It's actually better to show my kids that emotion because now they know it's okay to be emotional. So that was a little hard for me, coming out of that, and now I know and I can see it and work through those things. So that statement you made about everything in their separate journey really hit. I guess going back to that point is I didn't realize Jared was going through some stuff when I met him. That he and I, what bonded us together was he would say something like, "Man, I'm not feeling whatever," and I'm like, "Man, I'm kind of that same way." And then he actually opened up about what he was going through, which made me go, "Oh, I'm not doing this by myself." Like, man, he's a Marine. Like, he's been in the shit. I'm a chair force guy. Like, I don't know, but if he can admit that he's having those problems, then I definitely can. So that was I don't know what you just said there was powerful. And the motivation thing, I'm all about that. I do the same thing.
Yes, sir.
The grind, this podcast that we started that almost 9 months ago, and we're loving it. 300 and something downloads. It's like, what are we doing? This is crazy because we're two dudes
Yeah.
that just like watching wrestling and talking about bourbon, beer, and barbecue. So, but I want to launch into another question, kind of along those lines. We said no gotchas, but I'm gonna get you, Captain. When you were the living dream, Sean Dean, trying to go out for Tough Enough, how did how
The
did
living
that
team.
that
Yeah,
tryouts and
loser.
everything go? Like, I'm I don't know what you got to know or not. Like, but I assume I watched the show. I don't remember seeing you, but was that like one of your first roadblocks coming into wrestling?
So that actually, yes, because I felt like so in 2015 I applied for Tough Enough. That was really because I had just got done. I played arena football, I played semi-pro football in Chicago, and I had kind of like took a year off from like 2014, that whole year 2014. I just felt like, man, you know what? It's kind of like what Bravo said. Like my time is like I need something to do. Like I was just going to work, working my 9 to 5. I had just finished, graduated from college. So I'm sitting, I'm like, man, I need to do something. Like, I don't want to play football no more because it's like my heart wasn't into it no more. And I feel like when your heart is into something, anymore. You just got to let it go because then you're just going to hate it, And I still love football to this day. But if I would have kept playing, I probably would have hated football. So I said, hey, man, I was sitting down and I was watching WWE one day and Tough Enough commercial came on. I was like, you know what? I've always wanted to do this. I was too young at the time or just doing other things when they were doing the other seasons. So let me try this out, man. So I did a promo. I did actually, they let me do two. I did
Cinco de
one.
Mayo.
Yeah, I did the Cinco de Mayo one. I did the Cinco de Mayo one, shots on me, and then and then I did the Living Dream Sean Dean and I made some good traction. Both of those videos did really well on the YouTube page. It was posted on that online. It was shown in like the commercial on TV. And I sat by and I was waiting, never got a call, and I felt like I made it to like a certain round. And then there was this guy who I was training with in Chicago at the time, and he got chosen. And he went down to the performance center, he did his thing, he didn't get picked, but he had to go. And that was like even I could have took it in a negative way. I could have. It was a downer because I felt like I did such a good job. I showed some character. I did a little bit more than other people who probably been doing it for years. But I used that as key, like a lighting a fire under my ass. Like, hey, if I did this and it got this kind of traction, there's no way that I'm not gonna make it in wrestling. And I just took it. I took that up, and the rest was history. Now I was training like once a week, and then that's how I met AR Fox. Met AR Fox shortly after that. About maybe a couple of months later after I did that Tough Enough interview. So yeah, the living dream, Sean Dean, what the ladies dream. You know what I'm saying? The men fear their nightmares. Yo,
Hey, yep.
Let's go.
hey yo, yeah.
Yeah, fantastic. Bet you didn't think I was gonna hit you with that one, did you?
I did not see that coming. Yo, that's cool.
That's all right. Bravo's not off the hook. I got one for him a little later too. Going on into wrestling, and I know, Captain, you said you moved from Chicago to Atlanta. I kind of did something similar, not for wrestling, but it was for a career. Same thing. It was living on an air mattress with one TV, and that was it. The support system you have to have for that kind of stuff, and even with now, with your careers now, the support system of all the traveling and um, can you talk a little bit about how important the family is and how that helps you get through those tough times? Because I know in the military we had to deal with that too, deployments and all that. You talk to your family once every few months. Just curious if it's kind of the same for that, or what you guys think.
Yeah, 100% the same. I would say that me and Bravo, man, I know a lot of great fathers, and that's key. And Bravo is one of those fathers that like he don't go a day without talking to his sons. And that's cool. I always think that's cool that he tell his sons he love them, and he has like a cool little a little rally chant that they do to each other before they get off the phone, and that's cool. Like you need that. Me and my wife, my son and my daughter's back and my daughter's back in Chicago. She don't live with me in Atlanta, and that's key. Like we just talk to them every day. My brothers and my sisters. Like he met my mom, my dad. Every time I'm at a show in Chicago, my mom and dad front row, right at the end of my match, they're right there. So that's key. Like they were very supportive when I decided to come down here to Atlanta and do it, and I needed that. Because like I said, I had nobody down here who I could turn to if things got tough. I only had that support system that was 1,000 miles away. So to have them constantly checking in on me and sending me words of encouragement, seeing what I'm doing, reposting my clips, and it may not have been the best quality at the time, but they're still helping me promote my stuff and believing in the dream, and and it was cool for me to, and that in itself was motivation for me that I knew I couldn't fail. You know, I had to succeed because I had so many people that was really counting on me to make it to the next level. So our support system is really great. You know, and I think Bravo, you know, you can touch on more on your side, but like, you know, just from what we both see from each other, just on that home front, like we both are just 100% about our family and making sure that's taken care of before we do anything else.
100%. Sean's married. I'm not married. You know, so it's the same. It's also different. I'm a single father. I got two. You know what I'm saying? I got two sons and a daughter. So it takes a village for me to be able to pull this off. You know, there's a lot of times we're like, we're working every week. We travel every week, and I have my kids. You know what I'm saying? Just couple weeks ago,
Last
Thanksgiving,
minute.
I picked my son up. I went to Texas, picked my son up on Texas on Sunday. Monday night, he's coming to stay the week. I got all my kids with me. Monday night, they call us, hey, we need you to come to Chicago for 3 days. And it's like 2 days before Thanksgiving.
Hey, what?
You know, I had no idea, you know, but I was able to call, you know, my mom, you know what I'm saying, or my kid's mom or a sister or something like that. You know, it takes a village to be able to pull this off. You know, we didn't get here by our own brow. We might have done the work. We might have been in the ring. We might have been in the gym by ourselves, but like it takes a support system to be able to get to this next level because we wouldn't be able to do it without people being able to cover our backs when you know when the heat come on or when you got to take a last minute booking or a last minute flight. You got somebody to help and hold down the fort for when you're gone, which is very, very important. Big time.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah, that's a no shitter when it comes to the support network, and I love that term. It takes a village. And so, Bravo, how did you land on Bad News and Tattoos? Because that's freaking
Pretty damn
awesome,
cool.
man.
Thank you. Honestly, it's the best words that I could have used to describe me. I don't even, you know, I don't even know. It just sounded really cool. I sound really cool. It felt really cool. I feel really cool. And I was like, how can I describe my entire personality? Like, because, you know, you judge a book by its cover, even though we're not supposed to, you know? So if this book had a title, it had to, you know, it would be called what? And I was like, hey,
Bad news and tattoos.
Bad News and
Yeah.
Tattoos, baby. It's great. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Thank you.
That's awesome.
So, Captain, we know you do a lot of the community service stuff for the community, which is fantastic. I love that AEW goes out and about. Is there any personal experiences where the support of the community kind of helped you through maybe some difficult times you were having or anything like that? Or are they all just kind of unique? The stuff you guys do is awesome. It's eventually when we get blown up, we're going to try to start doing stuff like that, Mission 22 and those. But I just love it. Every time I read the stories, and I'm like, man, that's so cool that they do that. So just a little bit of story on those, and like maybe a network special to you.
I'm not gonna lie, man. I'm a big community service guy, believe it or not. Like, so when I played in my fraternity in college, I'm a member of Phi Beta Sigma Fraternity Incorporated. So community service is really drilled and instilled into me, you know, just from that, because you know, we do a lot of stuff. We do a lot of shows. We take a lot of people money for merchandise and you know their drinks and all this stuff. We do all these things for the fans, you know. And for me, it's like it's nothing to take an hour, 2 hours of my day to go back and give back to the community because that's important. That's all they really want. They're spending the money like they just want to be. They just want to know that we care, you know, that we see it. And it's not just about what we do in the ring. It's about being out there on the ground with them, you know, and doing those type of activations. I am big. I really love the military, and it's not just because you guys are here or that I'm military. It's just because I understand, you know, and it's key about what we're talking about today. I really do understand the importance that the entertainment that we provide to the troops. Because I remember being on my ship, on my aircraft carrier, and getting that stuff from the WWE, you know, and I using them because that's what they did, tributes for the troops. That was great. Like that was like to me when I was there, you know, just being a fan and then knowing that like, hey, they might come on my boat to do a show, like that was incredible to me, you know. And they gave us free tickets, so I would go out to the Scope down in Norfolk and stuff like that when they would come in town, and it was really just something to do. You know, I was, you know, when I went in the military, I was 18, 19, you know, so like I couldn't go to the club, I couldn't go party, I couldn't go, you know, so I couldn't do nothing like that, you know. Although, you know, story for
I
another
was gonna
day.
say, legally, yeah, couldn't go.
But for the
Yeah,
most part, you know.
we're good.
That's that's why I was spending my time at. So that was cool, you know. So like when I get to do these activations with like uh warriors for, you know, Wounded Warrior Project or the K9 for Warriors, stuff like that, you know, those type of things where you're getting they're doing a service where they're helping military vets who get out of the service who don't know anything. They don't know, like, they don't know some of us don't even know. I didn't even know the benefits I had when I got out. You know what I'm saying? Like, I nobody, they just gave me a packet, told me to go back to Chicago. You know what I mean? And it's crazy. I've always felt like, we do so much for the country as far as like veterans. We're sacrificing so much. And then when you get out, it's like it's really a figure it out type thing, and that's crazy. They walk us through the whole process to get us in. They do all this stuff. They explain everything. But when you get out, they explain nothing. They give you some papers and say, "Hey, you figure it out." And I always felt like that was kind of wrong, and it's kind of messed up. And I hope one day that it changes to where, like, I feel like veterans should you shouldn't, like, when you leave out, you should get everything as soon as you walk out, like whatever you entitled to. Your home loan, your college education, whatever they tell you they're gonna give you when you first come in, hey, make it as easy as it's said and done when I get out. You know what I mean? Don't make me jump through all these hurdles and all these hoops and do waste this. I don't want to say waste time, but it is. It's like I got to go back and prove all this stuff. So anyway, I'm going on a tangent, but I just feel like anything I do with the veteran stuff that can get them support, I love it because that's a big component of our country, and we give the ultimate sacrifice to this country, and I just love giving back to those men and women because it's important that they know that.
Yeah, I definitely get that. Like I said, I got my retirement in the mail and didn't know any of my stuff. I'm just now getting my benefits for my broken neck and everything. I'm like, oh wait, I can get medical. Wait, what? So
Yeah.
it's crazy. But I like it. Yeah. Hey, sign here, dot here, cross this T. All right, you're in. Now you're out. All right, enjoy
All right,
life and
see
figure
you
it
later,
out.
man. See you
Yeah.
later.
That was one of the hardest things I had to adjust to was coming out from 24 years of I know what I'm doing, I'm doing. What am I doing today? Like
Yeah.
I gotta go get a job. You're not gonna give me a job? Like
Yeah,
what?
man. Like
you know? Yep.
what?
I use wrestling as an escape, which is why we kind of tie it into our mental health, is because it's a way to kind of just suspend your belief and watch these superstars in the ring, or if that's the other company, watch these wrestlers in the ring, and just enjoy, not having to think about the shitty day you had at work or whatever. I'm just gonna watch like you get the shit chopped out of your chest. Go. So I know in the military we talked about the stigmatism of mental health and everything. Do you guys see the same thing in wrestling? Do you see? Because I know Eddie Kingston has been very vocal about it. I know Cash did an interview about it, but for wrestlers in the locker room and everything, do you guys kind of see that? And if you don't feel comfortable answering, I understand. We'll edit out and we'll skip it, go to something else. But I'm just curious if you kind of see that because, like I said, I know in my career, I went through divorce during, and I just had to suck it up and couldn't tell anybody, because you couldn't show emotion. So I'm just curious if you guys kind of see that same thing in the locker room in the wrestling business.
Uh, yes. I would say
Okay.
yes. Mental health is really big, and it's kind of cool that it is like you got guys like Eddie Kingston and Cash and Thunder, Tony Storm. You got everybody out here talking about the mental health thing because it's important, man. A lot of me and Bravo, we always like to say that we didn't come up in wrestling. You get what I'm saying? So
Yep.
like the stuff that like people deal with in wrestling is something that's foreign to us because all we like after we got out the military, we lived real, like, I don't want to say real lives because that is real life, but it is kind of like real civilian life before we got back into a different structure of life. You know what I mean? Which is wrestling. And some of the things, some of the trials and the tribulations and the things that wrestlers go to, especially ones that this is all they know. It's all they ever been a part of is this. It could take a toll on you, whether some of the things you said, some of the same stuff that we military people or that we take for granted is like, thinking if you're good enough, thinking if are you being used? Are you gonna is the next company going to look at you or give you an opportunity? Are you grinding, doing all this grinding for no reason? You're missing birthdays, you're missing weddings, you're missing engagements, you're missing all these important things for, $100 or something like that before you finally actually get to where you need to be at the next level. And then now, you get to the next level and a lot of people get there and they're jaded. They feel like they should go straight to the top or like, they don't know how to relish in that moment of finally making it because now they got another set of hurdles to go through to get to the pinnacle or the peak that they want to get to. And it's important that they take that step back and just say like, hey, it's more to it than it's just this, and that's a lot of things that I preach. It's more to life than just wrestling. Like I love wrestling, and I think Dak said it best. Like when I look at wrestling, I think of it's God, family, then wrestling. That's how I look at it. I don't never want to put wrestling before my family. I never want to put it before like my faith and what I feel like is right. and I'm always going to stand on that. I just feel like that if more people look at it in that aspect, that it's a form of entertainment. Wrestling for us is just entertainment. We're entertaining the fans, and we're doing that. And I never want to take it home with me. And I did that just in my regular job, in regular life, is that I never took what happened to me at work or anything that may happen at work. I never brought it back home with me, because then that's when you start really getting in your head and things start getting kind of fuzzy, or you losing. You start losing the magic of what you're doing.
I think I was blessed to come into wrestling in a time, because Sean's been doing this a lot of time. I was blessed to come into wrestling in a time where mental health, the conversation of mental health was starting to be talked about in every facet of life. You know what I'm saying? So like whether you have a 9 to 5, whether you're doing something, wrestling, no matter where you at, you know what
Where
I'm saying?
you at?
You're at
Yeah.
home, you're in a
Yep.
family, like mental health is the conversation of, let's say, this decade, this generation. So I was able to see the remnants. I was in the military when that wasn't the talk. You dig what
Wasn't
I'm
a
saying?
thing. Yeah.
So like I'm
It
old school
wasn't.
military
I
base, right?
know.
You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
like now, like I would venture to say, I mean, service member. I would venture to say that service members now are coming up in a different armed forces than the four of us came up in, if you will. You dig what I'm saying? So
Yep.
it's
Mhm.
obviously, I think, the same thing with wrestling. I'm able to see. I still have a lot of the veterans that were raised the old-fashioned way, and I can see that mentality still being not so much taught but unspokenly passed on. And then I can see the change in the locker room from the new generation, that like, and some of the veterans, like he said, like, the Cashes, the Eddie Kingston, Brian Danielson, the people who are speaking out about, hey, make sure that you are right up here, make sure that everything is good. Mike Bennett is one of the big ones in our locker room.
And for sure, yeah.
Constantly talking about making sure that you're okay up here before you even step
Before
out,
you
or
even go out there.
before you even
100%.
take a
Yeah.
picture, before you even put your boots on, that you are right. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of like it's a very warm environment. Like even before the show start, like when we see everybody, when all the wrestlers backstage see each other, hey man, how you doing? How was your week? How you feeling? You know what I'm saying? And it's a genuinity that comes with that. Whereas
Mad love back there. Yeah.
back in the day, I could definitely see how it was like, hey, like um, like you all right? You worked yesterday? You be all right? You know what I'm
You'll be
saying?
all right.
You know what I'm
Get out
saying?
there
Like
again.
also, like it's also I would say, as weirdly as it may sound, pain management has a thing to do with this as well. As weirdly as it may sound in
Oh,
our business, right? Because you don't want to say, like, if sometimes if you're hurting, they say in wrestling, you don't want to. You're always gonna wrestle hurt. You never want to wrestle injured. You know what I'm saying? Like wrestling hurt. You know what I'm saying? So like when you're hurting and stuff like that, if you've got an ache or a pain, you might walk around a little bit differently, and you might not want to say anything to anybody, because that could affect something else later on down the line. Your arm's
You
not
don't want to
feeling good,
lose
your
your
leg's not
spot.
feeling
Yeah.
good. That might mess. If you what if there is something wrong? Now you in your head. Now you don't know if you can
hmm.
move right. All of that affects the way the performers and the wrestlers go into this thing, and you could see it. And mental health is a big part of all of that. Now people are comfortable with saying, "Hey, you know what?
Hey.
I'm not feeling too hot. This isn't.
Yeah,
I
man.
gotta go see doc. You know what? Maybe I should just take a break and not be afraid to lose a spot,
Lose
or
your
be
spot.
afraid that you're gonna, that your match that you were gonna have, that you've been building to, is gonna get lost in the shuffle. It's a lot more welcoming than the stories that I've heard from our past
The
veterans.
past. Yeah.
You know,
That's 100% true, man. Like people now have more of a, it's okay, like you said, it's okay to say, hey doc, I'm hurt. I don't, but back in the day, like somebody, you say, hey, I'm hurt, you might lose your spot, or you're
Right.
thinking about losing your spot. But now, because we've developed a culture of it's okay, like you said, the mental health, and that's part of your mental health. If you got to go around and you're stressing about, like, hey, I got a nagging hamstring injury or something like that, or a nagging knee injury, and today might be the day where I might tear something, I might do something, but I'm gonna keep pushing through it because I don't want to lose my spot. Now today it's like, hey, you know what? Let me go tell the doc I got something going on. They can do some preventive maintenance. They can do whatever, to get me right, so that maybe I might have to take like a week off, but I'm good to go next week type thing.
even
And that's
even
key.
like even like outside of I would say uh professional realm. We're talking the indie realm, right? It's Cap said something very interesting earlier. Wrestling is I love wrestling to death as a business, but it's a very take business. Take. There's a lot of people, who, you're not making a lot of money trying to get to the top. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Wrestling will for sure throw a wrestling show on a Thanksgiving or throw a wrestling show on a Christmas, and because you want to be seen and you want you want to keep your steam rolling, you're going to sacrifice a little bit of time with your family or sacrifice that gas money to go do this and go do that. And when that doesn't play out the way that you want it to play out, or like you don't get the opportunity that you thought would come with certain things, it can really wear on you. And that's a big thing. You see that a lot. A lot of people who I came up with on the indies, I'm sure Sean as well, have the mental health of defeating themselves more than feeling anything, any kind of ill way, nothing like that, but just not feeling like you're living to the potential of how you think that you are, and seeing people from the left and the right of you go up and do things that could really be defeating. And now you're starting to see a lot of wrestlers, build each other up with that, and help each other up off the floor and stuff like that. Like, hey, you're doing great, you're doing fantastic. There's a lot of flower giving in wrestling right now, which is phenomenal for what we're talking about, if you will.
Yeah, that's so awesome to hear. You take your, you leave a Marine Corps unit. There's nothing stronger than a Marine Corps squad. You got your squad leader, your fire team leaders. Like the bond is unbreakable. And then, captain being on the football team, everybody's looking at each other when you're in the huddle. You break the huddle. Everybody can read each other's body language, and to hear that, what you're experiencing both at your parent company, AEW, and you're seeing and hearing on the indies is, I mean, that really warms me up, because I can only imagine what goes on, in your head before you go out. Do I look right? Did I warm up right? Am I, does my gear look right? I mean, and it's wow. Hearing that is that's freaking awesome. So kudos to the wrestling industry, and suspended belief. My WWE brain and my AEW heart. That's freaking awesome. So kudos.
Thank you, man.
That's good.
Thank you.
Yeah, definitely appreciate that. All right, so I'm going to hit you guys with one last question, then I'll go to our outro. So it's something that kind of Jared and I started with our first show. I kind of make it a tradition with people we have on. If you had to tell a non-wrestling fan one wrestling match to watch to get them into wrestling, what would it be?
If I had to be like, just what got me, like, made me be like, damn, hey, this is cool. It's Shawn Michaels versus Razor ladder match. I'm telling them to watch that.
That's a good one.
Yeah, that match.
That's a good one.
That match has me going. Yeah.
I'm gonna keep it more current. If I want you to see, you already know where I'm going. If I want you to see where wrestling is at right now, and you want to be blown away from a story from top to bottom, I'm going Kenny Omega versus Will Ospreay. That was the most. That match was the most amazing match I've ever seen with my own two eyes.
Yes.
Sweet. So mine was the Hogan and Rock.
For sure.
Because two well-known names that any person I could bring in and sit in front of that, they'll go, oh, I know who these guys are. Mm-hmm. Oh, and that the dichotomy of the way the fans went back and forth, I think that's mine. I'll let Jared tell you his.
And mine was Edge and Christian, Bully Ray and Bubba.
Oh, TLC.
The Hardys.
TLC.
And that spear out of midair. Like, what on earth?
Yep.
And like, the first time I ever saw wrestling, it was Jerry Lawler. And I was a kid we were in Kentucky, and I'm flipping through my family. They're sitting there chattering. I didn't know what they were talking about. And boom, I flipped the screen on, and he throws the fireball. And I was like,
yeah.
Since then, it's like that joy, not of the fireball, but of just like shutting my brain off and going, this is like amazing. Mm-hmm. And the Razor Ramon match, hey Chico, they could do no wrong.
Nothing wrong.
Yeah, that's awesome storytelling. That's phenomenal.
Yeah, sweet. All right, well, I'm gonna let you guys any final thoughts or advice, anything you want to give to our listeners, to throw it out there. Maybe hit your socials up, and then we'll close out.
So for me, man, I just want to say, man, only just on the topic of mental health, man, just always take a moment throughout your day, man. Just unplug however you unplug. Just take a moment, whatever it is you do. Just unplug and rewind. Just have a place where you can just sit back, relax, and reflect. Always think about a lot of the positive things that you got going on in your life, all the stuff that you got to look forward to. and all the people that's counting on you to make a difference. Whatever that difference is, it could be as small as going to the gym, or it could be as big as changing someone's life. Taking your family, breaking generational curses. Whatever it is set for you to do, is there for you to do if you just take a moment and just know that you can do it. And also, for those of us who living in the social media age and things like that, man, one of the biggest things I would like to tell everyone that's listening to this, man, hey, Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it, Instagram, all that stuff, man. Hey, it's not the real substance of life. I just want to say, hey, do not get caught up in that type of that. I'm gonna keep my words choice. So just do not get caught up in the rubbish, the rubbish of X, man. That is not. When it's good, it's good. When it's bad, it's terrible. So don't get caught up in that, and just let it be. Enjoy wrestling for what it is. And I really appreciate you, Jennifer. What something that you said was that you got lost in just the suspense of what wrestling is, and that's key, man. No, it doesn't matter about the wins, the losses. It's about the story we're telling. And if you can get lost in a Marvel movie, a DC movie, your favorite action movie, your favorite comedy, your favorite TV show, whatever it is, if you can get lost in that, you can get lost in wrestling. If you just allow your brain to just process what you're watching and just let it be. It's a form of entertainment. It's for us to entertain you. And that's it. I'll leave it at that, man. Hey, Captain Sean Dean, I am the power of positivity, man. That's my whole thing. That's kind of one of the reasons why they call me the captain. Follow me on all my socials, Sean Dean 773 on everything, and yeah, man.
Well, I'm gonna say, because this is military rooted, I'll say the last thing I'll say is all four of us had the same exact kind of story. We all got out the military and was left to boot. No one had no idea. I was infantry, I was a grunt. They literally told me the only job that the military taught me was how to be a security guard. And that's not doing anything. I had nothing. You get what I'm saying? I had nothing. I had no skills. I went to Iraq, went to Afghanistan, had all these memories and all this stuff happening behind me, but I had nothing to come home to. And if anything, also all four of us are stories that there is life after this. I know it can feel like we're by ourselves. I left the military and everything I knew when I got out, and I had no family, no friends, because the military was the family and the friends that I had. And I had to start all the way over, and that could make you feel that could play with your head a little bit, right? Especially when we're told not to let things play with our head. But we are all evidence that there is life after that, and that we can all make it, and we can do whatever we want to do. One thing the military gave us that, and not just the military, but just life right now is mental toughness, which is what we talked about earlier. That's why we're able to move and transition past where we came from to where we're at right now. Being confident in who we are and knowing exactly who we are and what we bring to the table, and that's important, right? So I would say just keep our heads up. It's a big world. There's a lot to do out there, especially for us who come from other worlds. We are a band of brothers. We all got each other's back, and that's important. And me and Sean are just proof that if you put your mind to it, no matter where you come from, no matter what they say you're qualified for, you can literally reach the stars and do whatever you want to do. That's our favorite thing in the whole wide world. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I would leave it with. Captain's the leader, so I'm gonna say go out there and fuck the world up, guys. Go kick ass, kick name. Bleep that out. Bad news tattoos. I love you guys. That's what I would say. Just go out there and take action. Don't leave nothing on the table. Go for it.
All right. You want to plug your socials real quick?
Yeah. Look up Bad News and Tattoos.
There you go.
You'll find me. Charlie Bravo on CARLIE. No H.
No H.
My name is not Charlie. I will fight you for that.
Hey, I made that mistake. I apologize.
You're the man, brother. Thank you guys. It means so much that you guys had us here. We love doing stuff like this. We'll come every month.
Congratulations on y'all thing too, man. Y'all been doing this since 2020, man. Y'all out here, y'all making waves. It's just key right there. Like you said, that's important in itself that you guys are two military vets. You got out, you guys didn't have anything, you didn't know nothing. You did this thing right here, and it's gaining steam and it's doing what it's supposed to do. And that's just key, man. Who's to say in the next year or so that you guys won't be the number one podcast? You know what I'm saying? Top 10 podcast. You know what I'm saying?
We'll still be here, baby.
You know what I'm saying? That's the plan. So if you can keep the things that you guys are doing, if you stick to it, I'm telling you, man, top 10 is on your way. You know what I'm saying? And then top 5, and then until eventually you get to number 1. That's the whole key. Just keep chipping away. That's cool.
Yeah, that's the plan. I mean, well, again, thank you guys so much for joining us. This is the No Shave Man Cave. It's your first time listening to us. You can follow us on all the socials, X, Threads, whatever else is out there. No Shave Man Cave. you want to listen to the audio version, not look at our ugly mugs, we're on every podcast network out there. No Shave Man Cave.
This might increase your women.
Well, yeah, I was gonna say we might get better now. I mean, we got the beards to cover it up.
Pick the right ones.
That's why we got the beards. Though. And again, this is our 22nd episode. We put these out on the 22nd. Remember, it's okay to not be okay. You are not in this struggle alone. I promise you. Reach out to somebody, and if you see somebody you think might be struggling, reach out to them. Even if it's just a guy you work with, and next thing you know, he's your best friend. So, with that, I'm going to tag it out to my tag team partner to close us out.
Thanks for checking us out here at the No Shave Man Cave. To the tag team of tag teams with the Captain and Bravo. Thank you for joining us here so much. Can't tell you enough. To our brothers and sisters at arms, keep doing what you do. Hurry up, get your ass home. You're needed back here. And until next time, take care of yourselves, take care of each other, and we'll see you on the floor.